Yes. We are back. We have to say back because we weren't here last week.
Ami caused that. Ami caused that.
But I like when people take responsibility, you know. I love when people take responsibility. You know, it's Leo's fault, but Leo has good reason, and
Yes,
we're gonna share with you what's going on in Leo's world. Because Leo don't like to talk about these things, so I go and do it.
I don't.
You know,
I don't.
Dr. Leo Gillen
Yeah.
has published a book, From Shadows to Sunshine, My Jamaican Boyhood. And he was away last week in Jamaica. You know, some people say him left from Jamaica go a foreign pan tour. Him left from foreign go Jamaica pan tour.
Exactly.
He he was at the National Library and all these
Yes.
places, signing book and doing autograph. You know, it looked like a good launch, Leo. What you say?
Well, I'd say this that I had so much fun. I didn't know that so much fun comes with launching a book. All right. I didn't realize. But the most, the big significant one, the significant ones were all four. They all meant a lot or mean a lot
Meant
to me,
something
right?
different.
They're all different. In Kingston on Wednesday the 2nd, I had a lot of friends and families that showed up, and it was almost like a formal affair or a semi-formal affair. We had persons who were some of my friends, not friends, some of my colleagues in different ministries that that showed up. But the key persons who showed up for me were a classmate of mine, right, at primary school that we grew from grade 1 through grade 6.
Nice.
And then the principal's daughter at the primary school, the principal's son, and then the principal at high school, her son, his son, and then who else? And then one of my favorite teachers' daughter was there. And that kind of took
Jelly.
some emotions out of me, because to know that those people were there. I don't think they knew of their connections in my mind.
Right.
Once I started talking, they start seeing where this is coming from. So it was a really good feeling for me on Wednesday.
But it's a nice full circle because the book is from boyhood to now. So
Exactly.
you have
It's from
all of them
boyhood
there.
to age 20, to age 19.
Yeah, to age
When
to
I-
age 19.
When I went to college, I was 18. I was almost 18. Yes. So that's where it stopped.
So they kind of
They,
do a loop
they
there.
connected everything. Yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
looped in everything.
Yeah.
And so
That's good.
and
And
then and then
Yeah.
and then at 3 on Friday.
oh,
3.
whoa.
So I left out of Kingston and I went to St. Mary. At 8:30 in the morning. I spoke to the students at the primary school that I went to. Right? And what I found interesting was that the history of Arakobesa is not translated or carried on to the new generation, because I was talking about things that nobody knew about, not even the teachers, right? And that was interesting. And so I left now and went to the high school. Now the high school is where I became somewhat of an adult, adolescent, and kind of know myself and things. And so you form these kind of bonds right there, and so I was so surprised because I didn't expect it. I expected what I did at the primary school, just stood up and talk to the students. That would be the same thing. But boy, they roll out a piece of red carpet for me as a brethren.
What?
Oh my God!
Superstar treatment.
Royal treatment, man. So I was really, really happy for them. And then I was able to talk about my entire life. I talked about, where I was at 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Not giving away anything in the book, but how my environment was and how how it is that I grew, so that people could understand and either they relate or it's a brand new experience for them. So it was really, really good.
Yeah. That's nice. So those of us in Toronto, here is the warning for you. Leo had an awesome tour in Jamaica with the book. And
You missed out the part where it said red carpet.
Red carpet treatment and so Toronto, the challenge is yours. He is doing Saturday, April 19 at the Knowledge Bookstore.
Yes.
I don't know if that's filled up yet because that was posted a while back. So you better go check if you don't know, so you don't want to go. And then the other one is going to be another one that you need to actually, do an RSVP for, because that's happening at the Council General. That's the Wednesday, April 23.
So you have to get your name in there quickly.
You have to get your name in. So I will actually be in Jamaica on the Saturday.
You know, come on, hold on then. You know, come on.
Make a try come on the Wednesday one.
Oh.
Try find a way for reserve a spot, because I'm not coming back on the 21st.
Okay.
I'm coming back on the 21st. So try find a way for get me in the little upper echelon one there. try remember me.
My God. So we don't want to talk about me no more, because I don't like to talk about myself. We have enough talking.
No. And trust, because we have not been here for a week, we have a lot of catching up to do.
Indeed.
A lot of news items and so on. So we're gonna get going. But look out for that. The book launch is on. Yes.
So, indeed. And I'll be signing a lot of books that day. Believe me, a lot of books.
Yeah. So Leo, I do Taught the Things on Wednesdays. And this one that we're going to talk about was on my Taught the Things today. This one is on my mind, and I want to hear your perspective. But I'm going to show a clip.
Okay. Of this. Lord, me feel like somebody will test me. I feel like somebody will test me.
Go get a test. So this clip is, this morning I call it the case of the mysterious chicken. Washed up to shore at Hellshire. So look at how it was handled.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So Leo, for context, because Leo never know. Leo the Jamaican don't know say chicken a giveaway.
I did not know.
This happened last Thursday.
I'll be bringing it back. Jesus.
I mean, don't know how you bring back that chicken for it. So last Thursday, this container apparently was en route from Brazil, headed to Cayman. And this container, we don't know how it dropped off in a sea. We don't know what happened there. But it washed up to the Hellshire shores, the Hellshire beach in St. Catharines. And anybody who know Hellshire know we go there for a little bit of swimming and more for fish. So this container full of chicken, the brand is called Perdix or Perdie, depending on your pronunciation. And it is halal. It was marked in Arabic to show that it is also halal. And so this washed up to shore.
So it's raw chicken?
Raw chicken, whole chicken.
Oh, wow.
And
they're going to eat that?
The government officials say, please don't eat it. You don't know. It wasn't clear to enter the Jamaica.
That will stop them from eat?
Listen, Leo. TikTok full of video with people fry up the chicken, curry the chicken, and lick them finger. The chicken turn up. You can't tell them about the chicken. You can't tell them about the chicken.
No, you can't.
So I want to know, what is your take? What?
Okay, so if it's a container, how did it float?
Because it was air sealed. So no water got into it until I guess it get to shore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be one of those persons going to that box to get that container to get the chicken. I would not be, because I don't know where it's coming from. I don't care. I don't care how did it fall off. How did it fall off like that? I just have a problem with that. I would just let it go. I wouldn't be a person. I would not suggest that anybody eat that chicken. Because first of all, if it's not a freezer container, that's the first thing. If it's a freezer container and the chicken are frozen, then I will understand that whatever it went in, it would probably have some kind level of caring by it being frozen. But if it's float, that means that up in the sky, the sun will burn on it, and whatever that's going on in there, it can change the kind of makeup, the chemistry in the chicken, and salmonella all day long.
Yeah, so that is it. So Dr. Dawes, who is the opposition spokesperson on health, he said, you don't know the cold chain practice because this shipment was not intended for Jamaica.
Indeed.
So it didn't clear Jamaican standards, so we don't even know what is happening there. And then
before you even go any further, why wouldn't the health department swoop down on that container? I mean, why is it floating out in the sea?
But this is the thing now, Leo. Online, the conspiracy is there because they're like, how did this pass by the Coast Guard?
Yeah, how did it pass? It's so big in the sea. How it pass?
Far from monitoring. Hellshire far from Coast Guard.
Something wrong with that.
Everybody says something fishy.
Because the harbor is just around the corner. Right? So therefore, that's something that's supposed to float and it now go fast. It does do so. And I go in the water.
So them say strong winds and seas. Me say
no.
Something fishy.
Make it sound like it go like one speedboat.
Yes. Something fishy in the chicken. So somebody stole this container, I am thinking. When I heard it first, I thought, oh, this might be a product of dumping. Because, third world countries always get dumped on with bad food. But when I saw that it was whole chicken, I said, wait a minute. Maybe somebody was trying to steal it off the container. And whichever boat them take, couldn't manage it. And then it fell off. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh.
But, one of the things that has occurred to me, though, Leo, is, for me, when I saw it first, I was embarrassed by how people swarm to go get this chicken that them don't know nothing about. And grabbing. And then I had to reflect. And I say, it's easy to judge. But think about affordability. Think about what is going on in our economy right now. If you get up Sunday morning and you never have no chicken, you never know where Sunday dinner will come from. And somebody say, remember the container from Thursday may have one chicken left. What would you do?
I would take it a little
I
bit.
would say no. I would say no personally, but me, I'm a picky eater and I am very skeptical. But imagine other people in dire straits, Leo.
Yeah.
It's hard now for me to judge them. I was judging them first.
I'm not judging them.
Me did judge them first. When me see the behavior, I say, Lord, watch the hooligan behavior, watch the behavior. Why them always do this stuff? Why them are embarrassed with? And then stop.
No. I don't take it that way.
Stop and take stock and say, but we are in dire times. And chicken in Jamaica, I went and looked it up, is the minimum you can pay for a chicken in Jamaica is $1,950. That's the lowest you can pay.
Whoa. $1,900?
Yes. That's the lowest you can pay for a piece of chicken.
That's like $10.
Yeah. That's the lowest you can pay. It goes up to sometimes 9,000. People say average is 3,000 to get, maybe a 4-pound chicken or so.
Yes.
And then, if you go certain place, like if you go Price Smart, them have chicken parts in maybe 20 pieces. You can pay all 19,000. Like it's crazy money, right?
But Danny, that's no different from a Coke truck that turn over down the street. I mean, it's no different from a sugar truck down the street where they go clear.
But the difference is, though, Leo, is meat.
We don't know where it's coming from.
The difference is the meat. Because you see, if a thing of canned goods drop, you can check the expiry.
Yes.
Right? This product, according to the sources, this product was ready from October. So October chicken has still come. October chicken has still come in a Hellshire. And nobody don't know.
You sure, sir? But I don't get
the label doesn't say that.
So all right. What is speculation? It fall off of a ship that's passing.
The ship ship heading to Cayman and it drop off.
Any shipper, okay, so any shippers claimed it. Anybody has called back and say we lost a container. That's a lot of money with a chicken, right? A whole lot of money with a chicken. So somebody must have called back the ministry or Jamaican government and say, hey, we lost a container and you should not eat it, or it's okay to eat, that kind of thing.
So nobody is discussing that fine point. What they're discussing is how can they get it off the streets because they don't want people to be selling it and so on. That's what they're discussing. Nobody is discussing the source. Nobody wants to discuss the source. Of course, online bloggers are discussing the source, but nobody in government is discussing the source. Their focus is solely on stopping the meat in its track.
That's unfortunate. That's quite unfortunate because it's people's health we're talking about. We're talking about people's health.
Yeah.
And you can never say. Granted, it might go, then eat it and everything all right.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Everything might be all right.
Health inspector said they have not received one report of illness.
Okay, so we might be all right.
So they might be all right. And it's a known brand. I looked it up. It is a known brand in Brazil.
Okay.
Perdix. It's like, I guess, CB chicken kind of
CB
vibe.
chicken, yes.
So,
okay.
No. I couldn't do it, Leo. I couldn't look panda the chicken and eat it.
Well, you only say that because you can do better now.
Yeah. No, man. A long time is gone for little Leo.
Hold on. If you grew up in a certain situation.
Leo, may I tell you, say me grew up in a certain situation and me scornful. Me petty and scornful. You're not giving me. Here's my
We're not judging them though. We're not judging them.
No judgment. But here's my thing. I am worried, Leo, because I'm going to Jamaica, and when I go down, I always go to the jerk man.
Yeah, just don't go there this time.
It's like a rite of passage. I have to go eat like a jerk chicken.
Just don't go there this time.
What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now?
Or don't eat chicken. Don't eat chicken.
We don't want no Perdix.
Go pork. Go eat pork.
Can't eat pork. We don't eat pork. Can't eat pork. So them just mash up my meds, Leo. Them mash up my visit.
And that's your problem right now. You're going to Jamaica and you
they mash me up, Leo.
My God. Oh, sure. But it's a good thing we never know. Let me say, me don't eat no jerk chicken the other day. I did not eat any jerk chicken.
Okay, because me say, look for Leo come back with the chicken in a man.
No. I want box, me don't want.
Look for Leo come back with the chicken, but no such luck. Anyway, all in good fun, but we do hope that people follow safe practices. Please listen to the government officials.
Indeed. Yes.
You know how Jamaican people think they can cook out the bacteria. Indeed. And the heat will kill the germs.
They can't cook out salmonella.
We can't cook out
salmonella no matter what you
salmonella and them things. So please be cautious. Please. And please, jerk man, if you listen, don't buy no Perdix.
Don't buy no Perdix. I'll tell you this. If you put a piece of chicken unseasoned and leave it outside there for 2 hours, it already tainted.
Yeah. You know who we should have talked to? Silvanos.
Yes. Where is he? Let me call him and bring him up on the show here, because
Dr. Thompson can give us a big, explanation of the safety issues here.
Yes.
We need to talk to him.
Yeah, man. I think so.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on.
Indeed. That was fun.
Yes, that one is a detour. We're gonna go to a more serious one now. SSL compensation, Leo.
Oh boy.
Victims of the alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited are being promised a partial payout starting next month, that is May. It comes more than 2 years after news of the scheme devastated clients, including Jamaican sprint icon Usain Bolt. In a notice dated April 3rd, the trustee, Cadion Campbell, announced the establishment of the SSL Victims Compensation Fund, saying it is intended to facilitate payouts to victims of the alleged fraud.
Okay.
I'm done. Go.
Listen. So if my question in order, because I read the article this week, right? My question is, you will pay out, you can pass, you will pay out. Does this imply that the case is done? Does it imply that investigation going done? Because to be honest, the investigation is not done, but we're paying out. Do you understand? It doesn't make any sense because the money that was taken is part of the evidence.
Yes.
And so that is the evidence, and then we are paying out the evidence without telling me about who is going to be charged.
Whose head roll.
That right. Yeah. So I don't, it sounds like it's a pacifying move because it's not natural. It's not a natural path. It means we have to first find out who, because it can't just be that lady. What was her name again?
Panton.
It can't just be Panton alone in this. She was willing to give herself up. Yes. But she gave herself up with the idea that heads are gonna roll.
Yeah.
And so it just don't seem right that we are getting payoff to pacify the victims, but there's nothing else come out. And that's my only problem with this thing here.
So two key words for me was partial payment. And the idea here being that them no plan for pay back the people all of the money.
I mean, if you think about it, in most cases, like the FDIC in America, they're not going to give you 100% of your thing, your loss. They'll just give you 50 or 75 or 65% of it, right? So the partial payment is going to come with a letter that says,
you can't hold us responsible for the rest of it.
Exactly. It's gonna come like that. Yes. But the thing is, the difference, because it's not because of the market. It's not because of the capital, the capitalistic feature of the market that caused the downturn or the loss. It is actually a loss due to somebody who fingered the thing, right?
Our bodies.
And so because there is investigation going on and there's cause for further investigation and possible jail time, there shouldn't be any payout until we know what is going to happen.
So I understand paying out if it is genuine, right? Because there are some seniors who invested their entire retirement.
Indeed.
So they must be really suffering, right? So I understand trying to give them maybe something to hold them over, because according to this, everybody have to prove how the money go, how they got that loss. Because one senior said she was told her money was not even invested at all. So does that mean that she can't claim? Right? Because where our money gone? In the air? So, those kind of things are interesting to me about this case. But here's the thing. The thing for me, Leo, the two parties that really get me about this SSL thing are the senior citizens and Usain Bolt. I think for it to have taken 2 years and more for us to even be coming close to some kind of answer, is a disservice.
Who's paying the money, by the way?
So this is through the trusteeship. So I'm assuming,
where's the money coming from?
They had found some money somewhere, because it in essence was a bankruptcy declaring. So there must have been some kind of fund somewhere.
So bankruptcy was declared by the company. They're not allowed to do that if there's an investigation. That don't make any sense.
But I'm saying in essence they're acting like that because for them to get to this place of a trustee.
You see,
Because you usually assign a trustee in those cases, right?
I agree. I understand. So the money must be coming from somewhere, and I'm curious to know. I'm sure it's legitimate, right? The money, where the money is coming from. But my point is, why are we paying out? I think that's the biggest thing in all of this. Why isn't it that nobody else is fingered in this, other than the person who bust the ball, right? And then no one is being charged or even investigated. We don't have any idea of who is in charge, who is going to face some criminal thing, because it was criminal. The whole thing was criminal, and so therefore there has to be something coming out. We just don't understand. We are PO, and this was a criminal case. We don't understand.
Here where them say this come from. The trustee has proposed a 7.5% quasi-management fee on SSL's off-balance sheet assets.
What?
This is expected to generate $345 million. Of that $345 million, they are anticipating $153 million, or 43%, to be earmarked for the SSL Victims Compensation Funds. So they have basically seized assets of SSL.
Or they seized assets. So that's where the money is coming from.
Seems so. Seems so. But as they are saying here, the money, the off-balance sheet assets are expected.
You know what that is, right? What would that be? What would be an off-balance sheet asset?
I don't know, maybe somebody mansion and one or two mansions.
So if it's off balance sheet, that means they know who take that money.
They must know where something there. They must know where something is.
Absolutely right. That needs to come to the forefront. I really think that needs to come to the forefront. Yeah. But I don't know how we're gonna get that information.
Yeah.
But I don't like the pacifying thing at all.
I don't like it either. And it is clear from this conversation that is only 44% of that money will be going into the victim fund. So 153 million is not a lot of money.
That don't even cover both money.
Both money not even close.
That's a $12 million US.
12 million US. Both money not even close to this.
So I would say to the recipients of these funds, do not sign any document that says, do not sign any document. Make sure your attorney goes through it properly, and do not sign any document that says, this is a completion of the case.
Yes, don't sign any release.
Yeah, don't sign not all, right? Because if
don't
you
sign
do
any release, because
you're not gonna get no more money, no more potential for no more money.
No more money. This is
the way things are. Let me calm down here. The way things are in normal circumstances, being a financial person for many years, there has to be a liability policy that a company has. And each person who's on boards have other professional liability insurance. Yeah. And each board member is responsible, because it's not I don't think it was an individual company, it's a corporation, right? So each member of the board has to have certain type of assets.
Directors' liability insurance.
Directors, exactly, all of these, right? And so if you accept the money, do not cash it, leave it on account with your attorney, and go sue some people, right? Because that's the best way to do it. Sue them, the owners and the board members, and that's the only way you're gonna get the money back.
Some of the seniors that were impacted said they have filed cases against the company and against Panton. So I'm curious to see what agreements they try to get them to sign, because they can't jeopardize that case. Because if you have found some off-balance sheet stuff on up,
more out there.
Some more might round there. So
off-balance sheet. Okay, so people, what I gather from off-balance sheet assets. Let me go search it out. Because I've never heard that term before.
Yeah.
Because all right, off-balance sheet balance sheet means the financial standing of the company.
Yes.
The financial standing of the company.
Yes.
Which means that off balance sheet would mean that the company owes asset that's not showing up on the balance sheet. That's the company. But we're not talking about the individuals yet. So it says the off balance sheet items would be items that the company owns that did not show up on the. That's serious business. That's alone. That alone illegal.
That alone have us questioning the whole thing.
So but, let me make sure.
Yeah, man.
Let me make sure.
Look it up. As I said to people, this case, I don't know if anything perplexed me so in Jamaica history in a long time. This SSL case perplexed me. I don't know if it's because I am mad about how they've handled our national treasure, Usain Bolt. Like, everybody money important, but you see, Usain, I don't think people understand what Usain Bolt has done for Jamaica. You shouldn't make his head hurt him. His head not to hurt him, because Usain Bolt forfeited opportunities in the US and trained in Jamaica and showed the power of training in Jamaica by winning multiple gold medals under that, and then settled in Jamaica. I'm not for settle in Jamaica now. And then invest in Jamaica, and then every few months Usain does a charitable thing. He's built clinic, he's given back to kids. So this man head not supposed to hurt him.
All right, so here goes. Off balance sheet items, OBS they call it, right? Refer to assets, liabilities, and financing activities that do not appear on a company's balance sheet. In other words, they are not directly recorded as part of the company's asset, liabilities, or equity. Why do off balance sheet items exist? Avoiding balance sheet. The first one, managing financial ratios, trying to keep your ratios low, transferring risks, specific business activities that are not related to the business, but they are.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, guys, something is wrong with they have to find off balance sheet items to finance the repayment of these loans. I have a problem with that.
So the word, Vern Donnie says, sorry guys, internet was screwing with my feed. Fitzroy Miller says, wow. So here's the thing. I believe it was Usain Bolt's lawyers that they said this to, that there was no evidence of the monies that he put in staying in. So
right, he didn't get in there.
Basically, as soon as him transfer funds,
it went back out.
It exit to the off balance.
Yes, to the off
the off balance sheet section of the company. You understand?
Yes, yes.
And I've always said they must have assets out there. Seize everyone and sell them. Take them back and sell them and give back the people their money. Because
and investigate and send to prison.
Yes.
Listen, it's gross disregard for people's property, you know. It's gross. That could not be America. If it does,
it's such a violation because most people were using them to put away their retirement funds, including you.
Absolutely.
And
they might take people's retirement fund and putting that for them retirement fund. What kind of foolish is that? That's too much. Say,
seize every asset, find every off-balance sheet purchase, seize it, and sell them and give back the people their money. I don't want no 44%. I know 30 grand them lose.
I have to tell you this, that I'm driving down the north-south highway a couple of Sundays. I don't know if you've ever driven down there on a Sunday. Some car drive one day, you see. It takes me about 40 minutes from point A in Spanish Town to point B in Ocho Rios, right? And I remember traveling. I just came off from the toll booth and pick up my card and went up on top of the hill, and my car almost run off of the street because one car passed me I go so fast, and then so boom, another one again. I mean, I say, Jesus, peace. Me never seen them carry that in my life. You know, by the time I got to where the Texaco gas station is, me I give the Texaco look at advertisement here. By the time I get where the Texaco gas station is, close to Manig, right? The car them come back, pass me again.
Quick run.
So hold on now. You hear me now? What happened to the police? Them we always catch me on the road. Because they always stop me.
Yeah.
No police have stopped them the Monday. And it's from $500,000, $1 million car them on driving now. Some Benz and Carreras when we never see big like the engine them big.
Oh yes. Prado and such. Oh yes.
I wish Jesus peace.
Oh yes.
Old Benz and some BMWs.
I'm sure some of these off-balance sheet assets are some of those. You see?
I told you. I guess why I told you this story. That's why I told the story.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. So before Panton was arrested, the story was that these were different places that she had put money. She had sent money to buy assets in Florida. She had sent money to help with her father's treatment and all these stories, right? So we shall see. What I want though, Leo, I want obviously the people who have been done wrong will be fighting, but I would really like to hear a little bit more uproar on the island.
Danny, can you really look into me going to work every day to take somebody's money and spend it for my own self? How do you do that?
Just teach.
How do you get from looking at somebody's $12 million and just move? You have a business just to move them money?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, but you see, you have moral compass. And them never raise you to be a thief. But something is way off. I've always said people need to look at even the structure of SSL, because this all the financial institutions have to go through government regulation.
I know.
So it's not somebody's backyard savings.
So therefore.
But if you look at the structure and how it came about, I won't even tell people. I want people to go and investigate for themselves.
All right.
Find out about who formed SSL. Look them up and look at their qualifications.
Okay. So let's look at this for a minute, right? They've been there since 2008 or 2006, somewhere there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get $12 million, right? And they are supposed to show their financials every year,
yes,
from 2008 to the government to prove that $12 million is sitting in the account. That means the review of the account should include bank statements that says that you have this money every day in this account every year at the end of every year.
Correct.
Right? So if this year goes and the $12 million is there, and I check again next year and only $2 million there, the question should be asked by the government, where did that $10 million go? And if the $10 million went and it's not going back to the client, then why is it that we didn't catch that long time?
So the FSC apparently saw hanky panky from as far back as 2017. And they said here that there was a culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of client funds.
Wow.
FSC reports also go to the government,
But the FSC is the government.
But I mean, it walks into the Minister of Finance office.
Yes. So any audit or them do have to go to the Minister of Finance, right?
So When the government said they were not aware of certain things, this is why people call out the government, because they're saying they weren't aware. But one, you regulated that body, and two, there are reports every year. So at some point, an alarm should have been made to people.
And the people are going to be a long time.
At some point, government entities and government officials withdrew their funds. So why did they withdraw funds? Because they were made aware. How were they made aware? The same thing what I said.
Same report that the FSC used, they were made aware. So you see, people, me cannot understand this. There are bodies responsible for keeping them responsible.
Yes.
And if they are not, if the body that's keeping them, that's supposed to keep them responsible, is not being responsible, then everything go through the door.
Yeah.
And that's why this happens.
Yeah. And it speaks to the larger question about accountability. Accountability on the island for multiple things. Financial instruments is one of them. Financial institutions, that is it. Because how we get here when you have a top investor like Usain Bolt? How we get here when we know that the government had entities invested in SSL? The government.
Can you imagine?
And government officials now call on you because nobody sue me.
Can you imagine?
Well, no.
Listen, the best thing that you can do is like what you just did a while ago, read it. Then can sue you for what you read, that's public knowledge, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, then can sue you for your opinion if you spin it in a way that is incorrect. All right? But as long as you're talking about what is reality, then can sue you. And can big up them out all day long, right? So we are quoting from the files. But how is it that it went so long before somebody decided that they're not going? Somebody is pulling the strings and saying, okay, just hide that for now. Just hide that for now.
Yeah.
Every year it go, just hide that for now. Put that aside. Because
and I suspect that maybe whenever there's an infusion of money from big spenders, they use that to buffer other things. Yeah. Right? So certain people pulling out their money, they may have very well gotten Usain's money. Because
that's exactly right. That's how it goes. I mean? They got their money from Usain Bolt's money. Or people like Usain Bolt.
Or people like him.
Once it's like partner draw.
Yes, man. One big Ponzi scheme.
One big Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. But
that's really bad. It's really awful. And I think that if they're trying to push this under the table, I have a problem with that. And if they're giving their money and it's just a portion of their money, I have a serious problem with that. Because I'm sure that they don't know that their money was not guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the persons who are depositors, and not depositors are investors, they're not depositors because it's not a bank.
Yeah.
Did not know that there's no guarantees on their money. I wouldn't be putting $12 million US anywhere in Jamaica, anywhere.
This story is so big. It's just, they give us in drips.
Yeah.
So nobody can bite into it fully. But this story is so big because to me there is a cover up. To me, there is, there is the accountability conversation. There's so much at play here. Yes. And I just hope that the investors can get some gusto to continue to fight. I hope that the investors, as Leo said, is smart. Don't sign nothing. We don't talk to no lawyer.
Don't sign nothing. Don't sign nothing at all. Even when they send one check, take the check and put it on file.
Yeah.
Don't accept the money.
No.
They can not give it to you. If you don't cash the check, if you cash the check, you're saying, I am accepting this. Don't accept it.
Yeah.
Just put the check aside. All right?
Yeah. So, Generation Old School says, no. I'm assuming you mean no to signing anything. Don't sign nothing. N-O. We're not doing it. So, yeah, we have to continue watching this because it's not resolved. It's not resolved.
It's unfortunate that the public can't do anything about it. They can't do anything about it.
No.
Because it's the people from the FSC, they should be responsible. FSC people, because they should have insisted. One of the things I like about the Integrity Commission is that they insist.
Yeah.
The FSC did not insist.
Yeah.
And they probably got bought out by people who are in higher places.
This is
right?
it.
So the reason I like the Integrity Commission, they insist. If them find something, they must tell it to the public, and they must say this is what it is. Yes,
blow it up, expose it,
expose it, make it. Yes.
Let's know. Boy, I tell you, Leo, it's we're in some serious times, and I feel it for the seniors. I feel it for people who put their investment in there. As you can see, what's happening in America, a lot of people losing them 401k value. So these investments are scary.
So let me tell you this. I didn't see that, I didn't hear. I read. When I look at, I'm going to put this into perspective. I love Jamaica. I think nobody love Jamaica than me. But it is unfortunate that when I read over the weekend that the Prime Minister came to Florida here and tell us that we must invest in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that statement.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with the statement because he is not protecting our investment, but yet he's telling me to come invest.
Yeah.
As though it's an easy thing, as though I'm protected, as though I have nothing to worry about. When I think about SSL, and I listen to the Prime Minister, I wonder, I said, why would you say that to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? To me, why would you say that to me? I don't appreciate that because you did not tell me that you have protected us, our investment. You have not shown me that it's okay to come and invest, that you have done this and you have done this and you have
these are the protections that are in place.
And you have protected all of it. You did not do that. You should not be telling me that it's okay to come and invest in Jamaica. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely wrong.
Yeah. I saw the article. I'm always amused when prime ministers say these things because every party does this. When they come around the diaspora, them start tell them so they must invest, but they don't talk about the barriers to entry. They don't talk about the type of investors that they actually want. They want foreign direct investment from these other countries and these other colonizers who will come and buy up, land and tourism property. Those are the investments they really want. They just come and tell you these things because them think them can sample with. Yes. But the reality is they don't really want our investment, because if you really want our investment, as Leo says, you tell us how it is protected. You tell us how there are checks and balances, and you tell us how are you removing barriers to entry. Right?
It goes very deep for me, because when a ministry wants my personal record, I have a question. I have a problem with that too, right? And I do a lot of work with Jamaica all day long. But when they ask me for personal record, my personal record, I have a problem with that because I know that many of the ministries.
Your sound just cut out, Leo. Your sound just cut out. Your sound just cut on. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just gone. Come down and come back in. Come.
No. It looks like the finger touched the mute button. But I was saying to you that I have a problem even giving the ministries my personal information.
Yeah.
My driver's license and all that stuff. It's just, I was on a couple of Zooms with the ministry before.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I see it's crashing.
Yes.
And somebody attacked on the Zoom when
yes.
I had the Zoom and something else. And I said to myself, how is it that you're a ministry and you have people are coming at the thing and them unsolicited? It don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But I also know that for a long time, they did not have a secure database with information, with personal information. And I have a problem giving my information, my biometrics. I have a problem with that.
Them not catch my biometrics.
Exactly. And so I just have a problem because they have not shown me that they are able and capable of
that you can trust
my personal information. And when it goes loose and somebody takes it, they can't do anything about it.
No. And this is the thing. The relationship that we have with investing is based on trust. So if you cannot trust them, it's already broken.
It's broken.
It's already broken because you cannot even trust that they are looking out for your best interest.
Indeed.
As Leo say, you can keep telling us to invest, but until you tell us the pathway.
Yeah, man.
How it work.
Yeah.
Where are the protections? Where are the removal of barriers?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right.
We have another.
We chat too much yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. So I sent Leo this late, so I guess I'll have to speak to it first. The case of the missing and now deceased 9-year-old in Antigua.
Right.
In a nutshell, there was a kidnapping and it took the country by storm. They weren't used to it. So it like everybody crying and so on. And they did further investigation and found that this 9-year-old girl was indeed unalived. And a woman is being held responsible. The woman is in her 20s. I think she's about 25, Leo. She had taken the child from, I think it was school, and later on took the child somewhere and unalived her. But what was interesting is that in the midst of that time, the government of Antigua said, it's such an overwhelming story. The government will be paying for the funeral of this child. And subsequently, we are seeing, even in the Jamaican Star, that authorities in Antigua are warning people, please do not give any donations towards this because these are fraud. And I sent it to Leo because, we have to take bad things, my joke. I never know that the other island them do these things. First of all, my condolences to the family. This has nothing to do with them. My condolences to you, and I'm really saddened that people would utilize your loss in this way. So let's preface that. This has nothing to do with it. My comments now have nothing to do with that. My comments are about this scamming, collecting of donations in somebody's name who has passed away, who never solicited it, them family never solicited, but you are walking around begging for them. I honestly thought.
That's like SSL, don't.
Yes. I honestly thought this was something that happened in our communities, in the Jamaican community per se, because I see it in the Jamaican diaspora now. Every time somebody die here in Toronto, I fret because I know I'm going to start see somebody do GoFundMe or they're going to start pass around a hat. And I always come back to, so what about insurance? But I digress. So I didn't know. And so I am wondering what is going on in Antigua, Leo. So I went and looked up Antigua's crime rate. And Antigua, up until 2019, had a crime rate of 2.4, which means for every 100,000 persons, only 2.4 crime acts have happened.
Murders, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then they have now, since 2019, their crime rate has gone up to 10.7.
It's a pretty big jump.
It's a big leap. And they are, the government officials are crediting this to CARICOM members that have come to the island and have taken root in the island and have settled in the island. I don't know who them much for what pan, Leo, but them say CARICOM.
Listen, if Jamaica's murder rate is down to 10 to every 100,000, we'd be happy. We're at 53.
We would be sailing.
We had 53. Right?
We wouldn't have a problem.
That's exactly right.
We would have a problem.
That's right.
But imagine the reaction that I saw to this murder shows me that them really used to low crime.
Indeed. This is a travesty, actually. Yeah.
This is a major issue.
And but you know, the way I see it, when I talk about third world country these days, once upon a time, third world country were the upholders of moral fortitude. They were the people who were the Bible punchers and the most religious, and they held our moral fiber together. But something changed, you know. I talk about the 60s in Jamaica, for example. The 60s in Jamaica, the three major economic thrust in our country in the 60s was banana, bauxite, and sugar. Banana, bauxite, and sugar. Tourism wasn't there,
Was nothing.
Tourism was 0.0 something at the point. Right? Now you don't see sugar, you don't see banana, and you don't see anything that's agriculture.
We don't own bauxite.
So people have so much more time to commit crime because they are not out there working anymore. You understand? Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that this is a bad thing or a good thing. I am saying that they're not busy anymore trying to make a life. So crime go up because what is about the devil and idle hands?
Idle hands.
Yeah.
They find work for idle hands.
Exactly. And so that's to me, if we are not going to improve our manufacturing, our agriculture, I mean, we still have 250,000 smallholder farmers in Jamaica that they're just providing for their homes. What if we can convert half of those into good farmers so that they can hire people and so forth? I mean, you know, we're not doing the things that will keep people busy and keep them active and away from crime.
I don't know. I think it's a big topic. It's a complex topic, Leo, because the reality is that you know, we have to have a conversation about what comes first.
The chicken or the egg? True.
Scientists say it's a chicken, but because was the post-independence kind of lack of know-how and navigation of world markets a contributing factor to this? Because when we get knocked out of trade, you know, to be honest, the word I would use is the Americanization of the third world. When we get knocked out of trade and people are looking out at what they could have, what they want to have, but they're locked out of trade. So where is income going to come into the island? Where will infrastructure be built? Where will jobs be coming from? When we're locked out of trade. So banana that used to run, not running anymore. And obviously young people and people my age weren't interested in farming either. So
and I was about to make that point. That's why I'm saying it's not necessarily a good thing, because farming, a lot of people, they want nothing to do with farming.
They don't want to do it.
But if you make farming sexy, it will be good.
Well, to me, it might come down to necessity over sexy, you know. Because you see this container with chicken, I want to know if people don't stop and think, if I had my own fowl coop, what could I have intercepted here? Instead of going after frozen meat that is abandoned on a seashore, that you don't know
have your own chicken.
If you did have your own chicken. Because when I was growing up as a child, my grandmother had a fowl coop. And we ate.
Which one? The Sensei fowl or the black and white fowl or the brown
very
fowl?
Pretty white fowl. Very pretty white fowl. Very pretty white fowl. Okay. And she was able to either give away eggs or sell eggs. She never really tried to make money off it. Yes. But it was subsistence for our household. I learned how to kill chicken in our backyard. All of those things, and pluck chicken in our backyard. So something happened. My grandmother and her generation passed away.
And them leave gone with the farming.
And that industrious, go after it for yourself, those kind of,
that no exists no more.
It left. Yeah. It left. I can't tell you the year, but I know it is directly related to my grandmother's decline, my grandmother's health decline, and then later on her passing.
Yeah,
I can't tell you the year.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. And it's unfortunate because we also don't have a manufacturing sector. We used to have a major manufacturing sector. Yeah. And it paid small amount of money, but I'm sure that you would be paying, Brazier factory. You remember Brazier factory?
Yeah. So we had a shirt factory near my house.
Yes.
So there were all these factories. None of them, all of them abandoned.
Panty factory, Brazier factory.
All of them abandoned.
All of them get abandoned. And so there's nobody doing anything anymore. But what has taken over is the BPO.
The BPOs,
BPO,
the call centers.
Right, the call centers. And so that is the Brazier factory nowadays.
Yeah.
But it is so different,
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we have to have a different conversation about economics. Our guest, when we were here last, he kind of hinted at that. The conversation around development. What does development really look like?
What does it look like?
Because we're seeing the fallout of it. It's crime, it's increased crime. And what we're learning through this Antigua story is that the crime is increasing everywhere. The crime is going up everywhere because people are less and less engaged, as Leo suggests, less and less engaged in the workforce, less and less engaged in society. Like, I feel like there's a batch of people who don't feel connected to anything, Leo.
Indeed. They call them the unattached. They call them unattached.
The unattached is scary to me because when you were coming up, we had a sense of loyalty and service and duty and service to country and duty to country. That is gone,
That not it anymore. It's really about self. No, self. Nobody not have community in their mind anymore.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because we're gonna stop. We're gonna end the conversation this evening on a different kind of
note. Yes, we're going to show that there is hope.
There's hope. I have two stories now. Two darn stories.
We're going to show that there is hope.
But but you understand where I'm going with that. It's like we don't have that kind of the majority of us don't have that kind of inner sense of loyalty, in a sense of community, in a sense of nation building and so forth, because time's so hard that the only thing that I can think about is when we go get the next meal.
Your mine. Where's mine?
Yeah, where my one? Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's scary. But yeah, so we're seeing, even though Jamaica keeps trying to tell us that crime is down, we're seeing every time I open Jamaican newspapers is crime. Crime.
I look like the police take over that now because I think I saw something where them.
Yeah, man, them lock up 4 of them.
They shoot like six guys. Yeah, I mean,
them whole 4. They call them 4 elite. 4 elite officers have been held for all kind of fraud and all kind of.
Oh God.
Everywhere is crime. So I don't know. We have work to do, but as Leo.
So are you saying that this is our life? So we better adjust.
I don't want to say that. I want to be cautiously optimistic. I want to be cautiously optimistic. And I'm not known for optimism, by the way, folks. I am very cynical. But, in the context of Caribbean currents, I want us to always be able to push a current of good, to push a current of positivity out there. And that's why I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel like if the right people get in the right rooms with all the brain power, all the resourcefulness, we can find viable solutions.
Because there was a time when Jamaican police officers, they used to just walk around with baton,
Yeah, man. Remember the clubs?
Just baton.
Yeah.
They don't have no gun.
Yeah.
And it took me probably 2 decades before I got accustomed to seeing a gun.
Yeah.
It took me a long time in Jamaica during my days because I don't see guns. Not even the police officers have a gun.
Yeah.
But things have changed.
Yeah.
And there's hardly, I don't know how we're gonna get rid of guns. I don't think that's a good idea even to think about it, because it's still gonna come in no matter how much gun you get rid of. Because you see every day the police them pick up much gun, but it now get rid of it because as soon as then they can brand new style of coming again, right?
Yep. But I'll suggest, Leo, that it's also the will. You have to have the will to do better. I think about Cuba when I say this. When I went to Cuba, I remember having a conversation with the taxi driver. Like, these are the people I communicate with when I travel. I learn a lot. Learn a lot. And the taxi driver was saying to me, the only persons allowed to have a gun in Cuba are the police.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It is a rule.
Yes.
No other person, nobody not going to have no licensed firearm, none of that. The only people allowed to have a gun. He said, yeah, you can have your knife, your machete, whatever, but no other persons but the police have.
So are you saying nobody not die by gun in Cuba?
If you check the crime rate, it's going to be around. Mark, hey, where have you been all evening, Mark? He says hello. If you check the crime rate in Cuba, I guarantee you're not going to find a lot of shooting.
Yes.
You're not going to find a lot of shooting. I remember he said to me, because he was taking me to another town, and he said, the only thing I could tell you is if you take the public transit, watch your pocket, because you might get picked because you're a tourist. But outside of that, he's like, you walk around here any time of night, no worries.
Wow, that's nice. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah, and people would look at them and say, "Oh, communist country." The will around safety, right? The will around protecting your citizens is different. So I don't know.
I've also been around Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the type of regularity in crime, gun crimes, as they are in Jamaica.
No,
I mean per capita, I feel pretty safe when I walk on the streets in Canada.
Do you know that Canada has more gun ownership than America?
What? Wow! No wonder they say bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
We're ready.
Already.
Yeah. So again, comes back to the will and a culture, right? So there's not a gun culture in Canada, right? People do hunt, people do shoot, people do shoot skeets and do all that stuff and do recreational shooting as well as hunting.
Yes.
But it's not something them run around going, look at my gun.
Yes.
Look at me.
They safely put it back where they got it.
Where it belongs.
Yeah.
While in America and in Jamaica,
you never see. You can never tell.
Brandish. You're going brandish.
Owning a big gun in Jamaica is like owning a big car. You show it off.
Yeah, man. I have to brandish it, man. So where I grew up, on a Friday night, before the dance starts and after the dance end, you would hear some stuff, right?
Couple shot Africa.
If you don't know what's up, you think it's fireclappers.
Right. Even if the dance sweet.
Yeah, man. And they like to fire it on the zinc fence because we had zinc fence. So they like to fire it on the zinc fence because it make a different kind of noise.
Yeah.
But that is when you know a new gun reach the block.
Yes.
Man of a brandish, So there's a culture around it that you don't see in other places. And if you look at the places with low crime rates, look at culture. Culture.
So we have been kind of brandishing badness for a long time still, because back in the days in the 60s, and I'm bringing some realistic stuff to you. We didn't have guns, but we had machete and we had ratchet knives.
Yeah, ratchet. I remember that.
And ratchet knives was the biggest thing in and around Kingston and the town areas, where guys walk with their ratchet knives as like them walk with a gun. And you're fearful to walk close to them because you never know what is going to happen. So they never have gun, but they have a knife. And if you're in a country, a man don't trust a man we're walking off in a water boat with a cutlass. You understand? Because don't mess with him because it will come after you. That kind of way, right?
Yeah. So it's so we have a culture of violence, Leo. Mark Hayes said, I hated Jamaican gun culture.
Yeah, I think we have a culture of, all right, so
it's a big topic. This might not be another night.
Yeah, I know, but this I'm gonna say it should be short. This might not be a scientific thing, right? But the days when we start screw up a face back in the days from early, and if a man step on you in dry knife, and that's where it all started. It all started with, because we think so we can screw up with our face better than anybody else in the world. When you look upon we look ugly up a face because we show that we're bad.
Oh, yes.
And then what comes behind that is anger. The anger behind the makeup face and the screw face and the wrench face is that anger with the wrench face. Even if you don't bad, somebody see you a wrench up your face and are angry, who himself is bad, is going to bring it to you. It's like you are a two-gun kid and you practice every day and a fire after thing, and a man see you who knows how to kill. He won't come after you and say, you bad, come. You understand? I could go at it. Yeah. And so, as these things take root, they start changing. Because we never get a chance to calm down the anger. We never get a chance to move away from the screw-up face and all that transition into gun culture. I believe that. That's not a scientific thing, but I do believe that.
You know me, I would trace it back even further. But let's see what Mark Hayes says. It costs us more than lives. It helped to F up our economy and cause brain drain.
Yeah.
This is true. So I would trace it back, and this is where I can say maybe it is a culture of violence. I can trace it back to our colonized years.
Yes.
I can trace it back to, from having to rebel.
Retaliate.
Free ourselves. But why are we retaliating? Because of the conditions of that. And then over time, that continued to grow. And the more disenfranchised you were, the more prone you were.
Yeah, man, that's the more rebel. Yeah, man.
And there's a professor, I think he's out of UA, who has a conversation about violence, the exposure to violence for young people, and the correlation to going to prison.
Yeah.
And he basically did, a set, and he says, not all kids that were beaten do crime, but all kids that did crime were beaten
or abused.
Crazy, So culturally, these things have definitely developed over time and are now, almost a part of our identity.
Every day. And if you look at our music come out of anger. Our music come out of rebellion and retaliation.
Remember, you say you and I need to do a music show?
Yes.
I did when I was on radio prior. I'm on radio again, but them times I was playing music. I did a whole set on artists influenced by Badmanism and gun culture.
Yes.
So from Ninja Man, Bounty Killer, Red Dragon, like all the names that they chose.
Has something to do with them Badmanism.
Yes, they were watching Josie Wales. Yeah. They were watching the cowboy and the westerns. Yeah. They were grabbing that into the culture. Nobody knows John Wayne like Jamaican people and Caribbean people.
Exactly.
I must be one
them see them people as bad men, so them have to adapt the names.
Yeah, man, and so you bring it into the subculture of dancehall, and you know you're gonna express yourself in these.
Once you get the name, then you have to match the name.
Yeah, man, you're Bandolero. What you mean?
Bandolero.
What you mean? What? A Ninja Man original front teeth, gold teeth, you know, and it just and for them it's expression and maybe it's reflection on the society.
Live it. Once you give yourself that name, you're gonna have to live it. You have to live it. Yeah. So it's one of those.
And we see it happening over and over. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up, but we want to leave on a high note.
Would you believe this, right? Yes. That I had an appointment at the ministry last week, Ministry of Education last week, yes? And I drove up. And I drove up to the security guard. And I said, the lady says, are you here for an appointment, sir? I say, yes. Can you give me your last name? I tell her my last name. She said, oh, you're Dr. Leo Gilling coming to see such and such a person. I said to her, this is the guard at the gate. And she was able to write off the fly. Mine is not the only car that's coming in there. A whole heap of cars were in front of me.
Yeah.
But she was able, I wrote about her.
Yeah.
Because she got out of the thing and walked me from the guard gate, from my car, all the way to the front desk. And I said to myself, I didn't know that existed still.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know it existed. I was expecting somebody to be rude to me, honestly. That I was expecting somebody to be rude to me, even the demeanor or even the way they spoke.
Yeah.
She was very kind, the best customer service ever. And then, so today I was talking to my friend. And this is all about Jamaica. We're not talking about no other country. I was talking to my friend and she said, you know, Leo, I lost a lot of money last week. I said, oh my God, what happened? And she said, well, I got some money and it came through my bank account and I was kind of happy because I had some bills to pay. And so I went to the bank, got the money, and I'm going to pay my bills. It's just a couple of blocks down the road. So I walked all the way down to where I was going to pay the money. When I got there, the money was gone out our purse.
Oh, wow.
And she said, and I was so sad. I retraced my step and I didn't find it. But she said later on in the evening, a young lady called her herself on Facebook. She called her on Facebook. She didn't have a phone number, right? And the lady says, did you lose something today? I said, yes. And she said, what did you lose? And she told her. And she said, describe the bag. And she described the bag. She said, okay, I have your money. Right? This is Jamaica people. So I said, don't tell me anymore. Give me the name of the person who called you because I want to talk to that person because I want to write an article. Eh? And she quickly gave me the person's name. I call up. She's going to University of West Indies. She's about 21 years old. And I said, I just spoke with my friend and she gave me your number. Can you tell me about what happened last week? And she proceeded to tell me how she was walking past the bank with her friend. Her friend was in front of her. And she felt the breeze was windy. And she felt a piece of paper hit on her foot. And she looked down and she thought it was trash. But when she looked closer, there was money in the bag. And she picked it up and didn't know what to do because there's a lot of money. And so she asked her friend, is this your money? And the friend said, no. And the bank was close by. So she said they both decided that they're going to go to the bank and bring back the money to the bank. But she said, after all, I don't want to do that because I don't know that the money is going to get back to the person who owed it. So she looked further and found a name. And do you know, she went home to her grandma because she says her grandma might be able to help her. And told her grandma. And her grandma, who's not on social media, told her to go on social media and look for the person.
Wow.
So did she do. She did that and found my friend.
Yeah.
And called her up and asked her a question, and they met. They met.
Yeah.
Right? Now, remember I told you that my friend said she was having some financial problems, right?
Yeah.
Well, when she went to pick up the money from this young lady, they started talking. They had the same initials.
Yeah.
In their first and last name, you know.
Wow.
And they were having the same problems because the lady was coming from courts where she went and opened up hire purchase on a computer.
Yeah.
Lady can't see that very well. The young lady can't see that well because she wore glasses and she broke her glasses. They both broke their glasses. They both didn't have a computer. Right?
What?
Yeah. And my friend said the way she sounded, she couldn't walk away with the money. She turned around and give her back the money.
What?
She give the young lady back the money.
Wow.
So she still can't see because she don't have her glasses. And she still don't have a computer, and that she get the money from, but she give it to the young lady.
Wow.
Now, there are two things that are happening here. Whole heap of things are happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the young lady found the money. She could have taken it and gone about her business, right?
It would have been gone.
Who cares, right? Nobody no care. She went and searched down the woman on social media and find her.
Yeah.
Give her back the money. Yeah. And look at that. The woman who needed the money don't need it anymore. Not that she don't need it anymore. She found that there was somebody who needed it more. The person who found the money needed it more and gave it to her. And so to me, it tells me a lot about that sometimes we judge people based on the noise of the news reports that we see every day, or the leaders who are talking trash all day long. And we are not getting a chance to meet real people in Jamaica all the time. Yeah. And so, because I couldn't believe that this kind of transaction was going back and forth right there. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's a feel-good story because it shows that in the midst of all of it, there are still good people out there. There's still people with conscience, and how I try to live, Leo. I believe that things return to you. That if you put out good will come back to you, as my granny used to say. So I believe that, and I feel like that blessing would not have come to that girl if she had kept that money and spent it. It would have just gone.
It's gone.
It would have just gone. Should have just spent it in a no time, and it have the value.
Yeah,
not have the value.
So she's talking about the story now, and it's valuable. It's such a valuable story, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the exchange that the two of them were able to have, the connection that the two of them were able to have.
No, she got a new friend. They both have new friends.
Yeah. And now you get to use that money in a way different, right?
Because you have a different lens on it.
If you took it as a thief, it wouldn't benefit you.
Not at all.
Valerie Richards says, great story. Jamaica still has great people of good heart and morals. Indeed.
Valerie was one of those persons at my
at the book
launch last week. Yes.
All right,
Valerie, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you to all that have been tuning in. Generational Old School, Mark Hay, Valerie Richards, Vern Donnie, Fitzroy Miller, and those who didn't even get to comment, but we know you have been listening because we see the numbers in the corner. So we know you have been watching and listening with us. And this will be available to watch back if you're just joining. You can watch back on Leo's page on YouTube. On YouTube. And you can also watch it on my page,
or on Jamaicans.com.
Or on Jamaicans.com on Facebook. This is Caribbean Currents. We join you every Wednesday at 7 p.m., except if we have some exegesis circles.
Something like having a party or something like that.
Something like a whole book launch and so on. So I'm going to be traveling next week. I hope to join you. I will let you know if I can, but I feel like I can, so we'll figure it out.
All right. Nice having you. Nice seeing you again this evening.
Nice seeing you as usual. And take care, everyone. Have a safe night, safe rest of your week. And remember, do good and good dopey will follow you.
There you go.